Greetings, humanity. Thank you very much for tuning in to Channel Other Doc once again. I am Jim. I use he, him pronouns. And this is our short campaign of Dune, Adventures in the Imperium, a game by Modiphius Entertainment that adapts the universe of Frank Herbert's Dune series. We have a slightly reduced cast this evening, but that's okay because there's stuff that probably needs to happen, I would assume, one way or another. This is also going to be one of those moments. Okay, go, cool. Yes, I just have to check a thing, and the thing appears to be working, so that's good. So as always, there have been so many updates recently, and so just their audio has been going wild. It might happen again tonight. We don't know, but we'll find out. In the meantime, let's go around and say hi to those folks we have here with us today. And feel free to tell folks just once again who you are and who you're playing. And we shall start tonight with Lynn. Hello.
Hey everyone, I'm Lynn, Shive, and tonight I am playing Talus Shadow, also Shive, the aide to the consort, and Mentat.
Yes. Excellent. Unfortunately, Jen has real life going on this evening, so they won't be able to appear this evening. Janie might be appearing. This is going to be kind of like last week, possibly. It depends on when they're done with real life stuff. If they're able to make it, we hope they're able to make it. But okay if they can't, just real life. It happens. But so now we will head over to Nicky. Hello.
Hi, hello there, I'm Nicky Hide, and I will be playing Silas Chin, the bodyguard to the heir of House Versai.
Excellent. And of course, I am playing Nero Ionis Versai, who is a Spacing Guild liaison and to the House, and has agendas within agendas. We have discovered recently that he's actually incredibly loyal to the House and his duty, and hoping that it just continues. The business of the House continues functioning. But on the surface, of course, appears to be a corrupt wastrel, which it's the character he plays. How much of it is real? I'm not sure Nero even knows anymore. But, we'll see how this goes. So before we dive in here, once again, like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us all know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain references to violence, betrayal, drug use, imperial oppression, body horror, colonialism, worms, hallucination, thirst, and starvation. If you want to see that at any time and you're in chat, you can type !Dune CW, and that'll bring up the content warning for this game. That's going to show up periodically because it's on rotation. So that'll be showing up from time to time. And of course, as always, do remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, without further ado, we shall now hand things over to our GM, Brian. Hello.
Hello, I'm Brian. I use he, him pronouns, and I am glad to be back and playing this. So, and again, as always, thanks to all of you for playing, and thanks to all of you for watching. So, quick recap from last time. Just to remind ourselves of what the players that are not currently here are doing. Rose, the heir, had just had a rather productive meeting with Lord Reginald of House Procyon, and had managed to get some information about Lord Reginald and about the heir to House Procyon that she may be able to use as leverage for something later. Hunter had just made a plan to head out with Paolo Gantry of the Salt Guild to investigate a thing, and we will learn about what happens with that next session, FYI. So now let me go around and make sure I remember what everyone else is doing. Nero, as I recall, you were... I think the guild stuff, you finally hit that level of your to-do list. Am I remembering that right?
I think so. Yes, we had
Okay.
we had basically had just looking to make sure there wasn't any other weird stuff going. No, this is mostly it's guild stuff. We're
Okay.
up to the guild stuff at this point.
All right, we'll swing around to the specifics on that in just a minute. And Talis, I remember specifically what you were doing because you were investigating the source of one of those signals that was using an old house code, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were two. One of them was in the city, and then the other one was on that island that the one part of this planet that still belongs to House Latan. And I will remind you that House Latan is the one that actually wants to kill all of you, as opposed to House Procyon, where it is merely a rivalry. They merely hate you, whereas House Latan has declared full-on vendetta. But you were going to the one in the city for obvious reasons. A little bit easier to get to. Yeah. Okay, so I'll get back to you on that one. And Silas, you have recently returned from making new friends, right?
Yep.
So,
A bunch of pirates.
yeah. And so, what do you do upon returning from that?
Ooh. I think the first thing that he'll do when he goes back is to, how long has it been? Like, how long did it take for Silas in the bay to go there, do all of that, and then come back?
That was like a day, honestly. You that took you a whole day to get there, do the thing, and then get back.
All right. In that case, he's gonna follow up on some of his other agents in the Thorns to figure out, to track where the Bene Gesserit has been, because it's been a whole day.
That's right. So yeah, you've got her last known location, and if you ask for it, you've got other places she's been as well.
All right. Yeah, just want to get an idea of her move. Does she seem like she's getting ready to act, and has she been visited by those who are they again? The freelancer that House Procyon, or is it House Latan? They got it. I need to pull up my notes.
Do you mean the which one? The smuggler, or
the smuggler.
The smuggler that was the smuggler that was most recently seen talking to agents of House Latan, but also, right. The thing about the Bene Gesserit, she does seem to have been making the rounds. You get the idea that she is really gathering information rather than like enlisting allies, if you see what I mean. You get the idea that she's been talking to people, trying to figure some stuff out. And every place that she's hit has either been directly related to House Latan, or actually, no, they've been coming to her. She hasn't really sought them out. All of the ones that she seems to have sought out seem to be kind of on the periphery of House Versai. She's like trying to get information about your house without getting too close to the house, like without getting too close to anyone except for you that one time. But other than that, she's trying to. She seems to be trying to ask other people or find out by other means.
So just poking at the periphery.
Yeah.
All right. After that, you'll check to see did Rose tell him when she would come back?
Yeah, I'm sure she did. We'll assume that she would have done that.
All right. Okay, but since she's not back yet, he's gonna.
Yeah,
okay.
You got some time. Okay.
All right, and based on the information, the guy, what Recius, he has not given me any concrete information yet, right?
A little bit. I mean, he did. He's told you a lot of what he knows, but right now he's trying to figure. You and he both have the same question: is who stole that thing from him? Because he acknowledged and recognized that what you had was something that they had made, but he did not sell it. He did not sell that particular unit to anyone. So yeah, someone clearly stole it, and like when you left, it was clear that he was also sending some people out to find out what was going on.
All right. And so at this point, it's just waiting for information from him.
Okay. Yeah, and you do have that communicator that basically is just from you to him and no one else. It's like you can't dial another frequency on it. It's nothing. It's literally just you talk and it goes to his communicator. So.
All right. Now, in that case, I will just for now inform all of that I've learned to Talus just to consolidate our info.
That does make sense. All right. So yeah, Talus, you do know all of that. And if I know a lot of that happened last week as well. So if you have any questions about it, if it comes up, just bring it up, and we can assume you've been told. How much detail do you give Talus about what you did? Like, do you just tell her the information, or do you also mention your new contacts?
Oh yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I'm not going to give we are buddy now, but I'm just a potential asset that we can use.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough then. All right. So in that case, I'm going to go to Nero next, and then we're going to hit Talus with the sneaking around the city. So, Nero,
Yes.
what are your primary goals with talking to your fellow guildmates? Or I guess, what are your priorities? What do you want to do most? I have your list, but I want to know what your
So the let me look back and remember what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've got it too. Hang on.
So things that I need to know. I probably you've said that I've already by this point gotten information about who was on shift when of my staff when so there are two layers to this, right? I've got to deal with my it has to do with figuring out about my staff and seeing if they have why we didn't catch the consort coming in, and actually if we did catch the consort coming in, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, and you weren't told about it. That's extremely bad.
So like there's finding that, so that's like something that may have happened already, possibly depending on our timeline, but it's sort of so that's a thing.
We can role play. I can go ahead and tell you what the deal is with that, and we can role play as much of it as you want to.
Okay.
But the end result is that you had more than one person on this. Obviously, that's not you don't just have like one guy.
Yeah.
But none of the people who should have noticed it did notice it. And it takes a little digging and some conversation with them. Oh, that's a good question. Do you they still don't know that she arrived.
Yeah, and I'm not telling them that she
Yeah.
arrived. So the way that I have to figure this
you've
out,
you've got to be really circumspect with
yeah,
this.
it's basically finding out timing. Yeah, it's a weird thing because it's like,
I didn't even think about that side of
Yeah.
it. Okay.
yeah,
But
It-
the thing is,
yeah.
that's possible. It just takes longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to be circumspect with this, but you leave that investigation convinced that they did not know. You don't believe anyone was paid off or otherwise coerced into not telling you. The question you still don't have though is how did they not know? Because
Yes.
that means that she was able to cover her tracks on multiple levels.
Yeah.
And that she did not leave the highliner by any obvious means.
So-
She obviously had to have left it, but you don't know how. Or more to the point, like the next time any of you saw her, she was already in the house. So, yeah, what you don't have is
Yeah.
how she got from highliner to house. I guess that's really the thing you don't know.
And
right
the highlighter again, can you remind me?
That's that is the guild ship. So the guild,
guild
ship,
ship.
the highliner is the ship that has other ships in it.
Gotcha.
So once you're on the highliner, you are not allowed to scan for other ships and find out what else is on them.
Right.
Which means you could be next to your bitter enemy for the entire ride and you would have no idea.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
my first assumption is that she bribed somebody, and because that's often, I think that is often how things work in the guild. If I'm remembering correctly,
It's not unheard of. I'll give
just
you that.
depends on if you have spice, more things can happen for you.
Yep, that is true.
But do I have access to the manifest of the highliner?
Hmm.
The passenger manifest?
That's
that she would have to have come in, because based on the time, it's a thing we're sort of tracking down based on. I'm working backwards, right?
Yeah.
I'm working backwards from knowing when she would have to have been in the area, to figure out based on our processes, did we do anything differently, and what ship would she have to have been here on?
Yeah.
That kind of deal.
You're certain you know which guild ship she arrived on, but
Yes.
within the guild ship, you're not sure which vessel she was in.
Of course.
Because you have access. In some cases, you simply just have access to this. There are some things that are more secret that you have to either bribe your own people for, or otherwise sneak around to find out.
Right.
But you are able to figure out what vessels were already on the highliner, and none of them were registered to House Versai.
Okay. Well, no, that's okay. That makes sense. So, that being the case, if I have a list of the vessels,
Which you do.
then the that were there, it seems logical to me. She was probably on one of them. Can you give me a ballpark of roughly how many vessels we're talking about here?
Actually, it is exactly 13.
It is exactly 13.
Now, some of them
Mhm.
did not debark in orbit of this planet.
That was my next question.
Yes. Because the highliners don't land. They are too big.
Right.
The things that land are the smaller ships within the highliner.
Right.
So now you've got it narrowed down to 5 possible ships that
Okay.
actually made landfall. Now, knowing what you know, it is not impossible that like a shuttle could have left one of the ships that stayed on the highliner. If you're going in the, here are all the possibilities.
Right.
And she had to be particularly sneaky and secretive to get this done in the first place.
Right.
But assuming that that it had to be one of the other 5 ships, on the other hand,
Right.
you discount one of them because it's registered to Twi'leks, and they don't run passenger services. They are not known for giving people rides. And for that matter, most people don't want to be on a Twi'lek ship. So
there. And also, you know, trying to apply any knowledge I have of her and who she's connected with, that kind of thing is to.
Yeah. So eventually you have it narrowed down to one of 2 ships.
Okay.
And one of them, but both of which are houses friendly to Versai.
Okay.
And both of which also were arriving, had announced their arrival, definitely, in order for the big thing that's happening on this planet anyway, which is the official ceremony of the changeover.
Gotcha.
So you are of the opinion, hang on, let me get over to this real quick before I forget what I'm doing. That it is either here we go. House Leonis, Leonis, which is it's a small house, but they are to some extent in sort of the same business as Versai. I mean the official one, the art one.
Yes.
And they are more musically oriented than anything else. But they are known for producing impressive musicians and poets. So it's either that one or it's the Atreides ship.
Oh shit! The freaking Atreides, they're not doing anything. They're like oh, what the? All right, we're friends with the Atreides.
You're not friends with the Atreides.
Okay. What are the Atreides? They haven't been. They've got their own ocean planet. What are they doing coming here? What the heck?
Everyone's well, I mean, socially speaking, they have to send someone.
I suppose so. I mean, I don't know if that house is ever going to amount to anything. But that said, that being the case, the thing then becomes, so I kind of know what does Atreides do right now in the timeline as far as we're aware of. What is their focus as far as we know? I remember there's ocean power and sky power, but I cannot remember what it is applied to.
Well, their biggest export is rice, actually, and they are. I've forgotten the name of the rice. It's a specific kind of rice that is actually. It's one of the staples of the galaxy. It is one of those things that is just it's on just about every plate. Okay, so this basically Uncle Lito's rice is basically appears in every kitchen across the galaxy.
Yeah,
it is
okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So I mean that's their primary export.
Yes.
And of course, being a house of some power, they have plenty of secondary and tertiary business interests as well. But that is the main thing they're known for. Also, they export a fair amount of. They export like a reasonable amount of like seafood and things like that as well. But for the most part, for the most part, it's rice.
Okay, well, it's good to know. So basically, it's these two houses And we're friendly with both of these two houses, apparently. Or at
Right.
least the consort is. And that actually narrowing it down to that point, if that is how it happened, right?
Yeah.
Because, well, the reason why I think she would have to have come in on one of those ships, right? Is because, and admittedly, she could have disembarked from one of them and taken a shuttle, etc.
Yeah.
But from the vessel itself. But either way, the reason why I think she has to have ridden in on one of those two is because I think that unless she bribed someone, the guild would have a record on the passenger manifest, right?
Yes. But
For that
the
Highliner.
guild, the guild does not keep track of literally every person on every vessel, so she probably got through on that loophole.
Yeah. So that's what makes sense to me. And at any rate, it's like that they.
Also, it's entirely possible she was traveling under an assumed name.
Well, I mean, that's kind of that would have to be. Do the vessels that we carry in our Highliners have to disclose the number of passengers that they are carrying, or no? How much do they have to disclose, generally speaking, I guess?
They don't have to disclose the number of passengers. They have to
Okay.
disclose their cargo.
Right.
And if that cargo happens to be living humans, then yes. But
Right.
but they don't have to disclose, say, crew or even all passengers, as it were.
Okay. Interesting thing. So both the can I assume that both the Leonis and Atreides delegates have arrived at this point?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've already been set up with quarters and
do I have do I have I've been looking at these records for these ships that we have, based on, and also looking just what I know about the size of these ships and relatively speaking. Did they disclose the cargo what cargo did they disclose they are bringing here?
Yes. That you can nail down. So yeah, Leonis actually most of the cargo is like stuff that they wanted to bring from their home world in order to kind of set up a nice place for themselves here.
Mhm.
Just some luxuries and some delicacies and things along those lines. But
Okay.
the other stuff that they brought is mostly in the nature of gifts to House Versai, to say, it's like a planet warming party. But a lot of that is they brought a couple of particularly old musical instruments. Those are sort of the main things. Those are the official gifts. But then along with that, it's like, here are some other things from our home world. Here are some, here are some textiles that we produce, and stuff like that. So things along those lines. So nothing particularly unusual.
Right.
The Atreides cargo manifest looks really similar, but it's on a smaller scale. But similarly, they did not bring rice this time because it's already everywhere. But they did bring this time they actually did bring seafood from their planet that this planet does not also have, because you're what is it, cold in Newcastle, you're sort of sort of doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they have brought, again, some things to present to the High Chancellor and the Consort. But on top of that, the only unusual thing is listed as it's listed as currency, but it's really heavy. So you have the weight of it and the fact that it is called currency.
Oh, well, yeah, that could be a few things.
Yeah.
But the weight of it, I assume, is big. Yes.
It is significant. Enough that maybe this is gold.
Yeah.
Or something like it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Looking at the relative sizes of the ships and the amount of cargo that they said that they brought, the weight of their cargo, that kind of thing. So are the ships about the same size, or is one significantly bigger than the other? Those two ships.
No, they're roughly the same size. It's the sort of thing that you send to a planet when you're mostly transporting people.
Gotcha. And so the amount of currency, in addition to the party favors that Atreides would have brought, how much room would that leave for people?
A significant amount, actually.
A significant amount?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just trying to figure out, unless they packed her in gold, unless they came in and they packed her in rice. No.
That'd be an unusual move.
Then it's. But did the Atreides ship have significantly more weight in it, more cargo in it than the Leonis ship? Because
actually
of that,
less.
or less?
No, it was really less. Yeah. Yeah, Leonis brought a lot more stuff.
How is Leonis with volume to person capacity on their ship?
You could definitely hide some people among that too, though.
Okay. All right.
Of the two, honestly, you could probably Leonis has enough things that you could probably hide more people within that if you needed to.
Okay.
See what I'm...
Well, I'm not even talking about amongst the. I should specify. I'm not even saying amongst the cargo. But
yeah, I know what you mean. But what I mean is, given what you're looking for, they could probably work with, like if you were fudging the numbers, as it were. Yeah.
Well, it has to do with just like how much space are they going to have to move around, right? Is part of the thing,
point.
and this is kind of so. What I'm coming down to, the things that I'm trying to narrow down here, and obviously it's it's just that given the amount of so reasonably she could have been on either ship, but
obviously but
the thing that I'm thinking is that it might be more likely now, and this may play into, and I have to think about what I know about her, right? It might be more likely that she would have come in on the ship that had more space to move around, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Oh, and keep in mind, she had at least 2 other people with her, because those attendants were definitely not on world before she got here.
So, like, the thing being, right? If and again, I'm not saying that this is this is Nero is making assumptions here, right?
Sure.
But he's not ruling either of the 2 ships out at this point.
Right.
However, if you had to say, if you had a ship and you had to run through a ship swinging a baseball bat or whatever, which of the 2 ships, if you're coming in on one of those, would it be easier to do that in?
Definitely the Atreides ship. Yeah.
Okay. I suspect she is more likely to have come in on the Atreides ship, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, nothing ironclad. I gotcha.
And so then there's just a question of, like, is there anything I know about her? I know more about her personally, but that's to narrow it down. 2 ships I think I can still work with. The thing being,
getting it narrowed down to something that small is actually a victory in and of itself.
Well, yeah. So my thought is then it's just a question of, like, if to be able to fulfill, and the point of this, to fulfill the assignment she gave us, is to find out who else might have known that she was coming in, because she was worried that someone else might have known. We obviously didn't, and now I see why we didn't. It's because
Right.
she came in on one of these two ships.
Yep, she did a really good job of hiding that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the and I mean, I could try to do other tracking things based on where did we know she was, that kind of deal. But before I get into that, do we know enough about her itinerary that she could easily have gotten to either of the two ships? I'll go ahead and knock that question out real quick.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. You can actually trace this back farther because you can find out when each of the ships got on the Highliner.
Yeah.
And the Leonis ship was of the two, the only ship to get on the Highliner before it would have been close enough to your home world for her to get on.
See, that's the other thing.
I forgot you could actually trace the timeline back that far.
Yeah.
So never mind. So now you're almost certain it's Leonis.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Either it's Leonis or she hopped from the one to the other after it had gotten on. But probably not.
Which is not done.
Yeah.
Actually, no. That is capital is not done.
Ooh, okay.
So you do not leave your ship once it's on the Highliner. So
so actually knowing that, then now that I've traced back the itineraries of these ships, and I now kind of have a better idea.
Bribery will get you a long way with the guild, but but not that far because they will not let anyone off the ships. So yeah. Actually, now you're certain of it.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
If we are to properly figure this out, and she's worried someone might have known. Now, there are two possibilities. If someone knows, we don't even know if anyone knows yet.
Not yet, yeah.
But if someone does, then it would be between. So there are two possibilities. One, somebody in Leonis or working for Leonis.
Sure.
Two, somebody who's had a reason to keep an eye on Leonis.
That's a good point too.
So it's really just a question then of just sort of figuring out who's looking at them. I don't need to worry about that so much myself.
Not right now.
Tracking that right now.
Yeah.
But we now know at least who to.
Fair point.
Kind of follow and figure out if they, if they have any connections, things that they might know. So I'm gonna at that point in the investigation, I would send Talus a message.
Okay.
To just basically, just basically might want to. Find out if how do I put this? Basically to the effect of nothing bad has happened with these people yet. Nothing bad may happen. Not sure, but might want to check anything we might know about if there has been any interest either here or internationally, interstellarly, with Leonis.
Persons of interest, I think.
If there have been any persons of interest, either that we've heard reports about within them, or who have been hanging on to them or observing them that we might know of from somewhere. And I suspect that we have resources that perhaps we can go back and check.
Oh, yes. You sure do.
Based on who we've been keeping eyes on.
Fair point.
So I will feed that information to Talus.
Okay.
Excellent.
And I will come back to you on the other stuff. But before I do, one of your agents there lets you know that she says, well, she doesn't come out and say it, but she lets you know that she has some information you might want to come look at. And lets you know that it's one of those things that only the two of you should discuss. But like
Understood.
So when the two of you are able to find a quiet corner of the guild area, I'll get back to you on that. Now let's go to Talus. So Talus, you have I was going to say you have an address. That's not exactly right. What you have are coordinates, which you were able to compare to a map and get an address. You are certain that it is in one of two apartments that the signal had been coming from. And it was largely being broadcast to several places, actually, but the most common place, there are two. Well, no, just one. The most common place it was being sent to was that island that House Latan still owns. But other places too that you've no doubt pinpointed on your map and memorized. But yeah, the one in the city is it's in an apartment block. It's in a it's in a not great part of town. It's not in the slums, but it's definitely in the it's in the low rent district for sure. A lot of the places there are temporary lodgings. And the ones that are not are there are some of the older buildings in town though. So it's knowing what you do about the history of the city. Actually, you do know that it's where the city started, but it has since grown quite a bit in the centuries since. Which means that
let that piece to kind of.
Yep, that's exactly it. So now a lot of the workers live here. A lot of the people that need to live in the city but can't afford any of the other places. It's stuff like that. So it's crime level is moderate but not high. The city patrols there are known for looking the other way in certain circumstances, though.
What is the nature of the residences in this area? Are they like just like temporary?
Most of them are. You do have some more permanent residences, but all of them are multi-story apartment buildings, largely. The vast majority of them are. This part of town has built up rather than out. But even here, you don't have any like skyscrapers. There's nothing here above, say, 15 stories.
Yeah.
But you do have
maintenance to like.
It absolutely does. Yes.
All right. So I think Dallas is gonna go a little bit like but go disguised.
Okay.
Like in there. Change the hair. No, the makeup that they wear for formal things. None of that.
Right.
Slightly,
Yeah.
Beat up.
Yeah. You want to look a lot less fancy. Yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Not a problem. Yeah, you've got I'm sure you have several outfits ready to go as far as that goes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you hit that part of town and you blend in. You look like you definitely fit in with the rest of the people living and working out here. So the apartment in question, or the apartments in question, are across the hall from each other. And they are on the 7th floor. You know what building you're looking at. Actually, once you get closer, you would have some sort of a. You're looking for a radio signal, basically. Yeah, you could actually have some sort of handheld unit that would help you find the equipment, because what you're looking for is not particularly powerful. It's a run-of-the-mill transmitter as far as the power goes, but you would have equipment that would let you know which of the two apartments would be giving off the electromagnetic signature you're looking for. So
Okay,
once you
yeah.
get there, you're certain which one it is. You don't have to guess, but you had to get on site to kind of narrow it down that much. Now the apartment itself, you have an advantage here because you have another apartment to compare it to. And the apartment itself, this door has been reinforced. It definitely has. They've done a pretty good job of not making it look too much different from the other apartment,
Mhm.
but to your eyes, you can tell that someone has put some time and money into beefing up the defenses and security of this apartment. It's not Fort Knox, but it is significantly more difficult to get into than a regular apartment on this block.
Interesting. I guess just kind of ordering around. Do I know? Does anybody come in and out, or is it just like?
Not that you've observed, and the hallway is there's not a lot of traffic in this particular hallway, so you end up having to kind of walk through a few times because just hanging out in the hallway is going to make you obvious. But that does mean that you don't have a whole lot of entrances or exits to the hallway to watch. And yeah, right now you don't spot anyone entering or leaving it. At least during this. I mean, you could stake it out, but just in your first few passes, you haven't spotted anyone.
Does this building have is it something where it's just open as there's just a window, or just like do they have balconies on there?
No balconies, but yeah, I mean, you can figure out from the outside which window belongs to the apartment you're looking at.
Mhm.
Because from the street you can pinpoint it. And the window shades are drawn. Surprise, surprise. But from here, interestingly, the window doesn't look particularly different from any of the other ones. Meaning they spent a lot of time beefing up the door security. The window looks like all the other windows. Though it is on the 7th floor. Makes it a little harder.
Yeah.
But
So okay, so that's interesting. That's a way we could go. So my plan is that building is not, or that door is reinforced, but
mhm.
if I can get to the window from any of the adjoining, either above, below, or side to side.
Oh yeah, that's possible. There is a ledge, but not a balcony. So
Mhm.
and the streets out here are pretty narrow.
Mhm.
So also, I mean, there is the across the street option possibly, if you can work something out from that side.
Mm. I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, go to the a adjacent apartment, and then
Okay.
kind of like sneak in that way, and then get access to that window. See if there's anything I can do.
Okay. Cool. So how are you going to do that? And there is an apartment to either side of it that you could conceivably use. Scoping them out just from looking out here, one of them doesn't look better than the other. As far as that goes, it's just doors to apartments.
Mm-hmm. I mean, being in the house that we are, I mean, unlocking a door, breaking a lock getting past the lock is pretty easy. Yeah.
You know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And for that matter, yeah, given who you are and who you work for, I'm not going to make you roll this time, just because this is not a difficult lock to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And more to the point, you've got like really good lock picks. this house has access to actually the house would have access to like really really high tech lock picks, but they also most of you probably just carry some like particularly high quality just mechanical picks around.
Mhm.
So you'll have to, I mean, also given your training, it's not a quick process, but it's a sure thing if you take your time.
Mhm. I'll do that then.
So yeah, you could do that.
Mhm.
And the lack of traffic in the hallway leads you to believe that most of the people in this building are at work somewhere this time of day. And that assumption is paid off. The apartment that you're in is empty. It's well kept but small, and it is yeah, I mean, it looks lived in. It looks like the person here. Your guess is the person here might be a lower level Salt Guild operative, just from what you're seeing passing through.
Mhm.
Like one of the actual workers, as opposed to any of the people you would have met at the gala earlier.
Noted. Which where is this apartment? Which wall does it share with the one I'm going to?
So as you're entering, the apartment that you want to get into is to your right.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to kind of either use my equipment, the hand or ear on the wall, just to kind of like figure out if there's anything, if the signal's
You don't
coming through, or if there's any like sign of people in there.
nothing. Yeah, you don't detect any sound or vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and not even from like a speaker or anything like that.
Interesting. All right. Does the hallway has like a fire alarm type thing?
Yes.
You know what? Get something from the apartment that can kind of ignite, and then I'll just, I'll get that thing started off.
Okay. And yeah, sure enough, it sets off an alarm throughout this building. You hear commotion around you now.
Okay.
None of it coming from. I'm assuming you're now still checking on apartment you want to get into.
Yeah.
None of it seems to be coming from there.
Mhm.
But you definitely hear people walking down the stairwells now.
Okay. I mean, if they're important, they're not going to leave for that thing. But I just wanted to make a noise in case.
Not a bad idea.
As I go out, and I'm going to try and get to that ledge and just kind of see what this window.
Okay. Yeah, far as you know, you're not being observed from the street. You're high enough up, and the streets are narrow enough that it's difficult for anyone to. The angle's not great for them to spot you, so you have an
Mhm.
advantage on that. Just walking along the ledge, you're fine. The window is locked, but window locks are even easier to pick than door locks.
Mhm.
However, not so much when you're balancing on a ledge. So this is going to require a roll,
Okay.
just because it's unusual circumstances.
Of course.
So also, I'm only going to require one success. It's not that big a deal. And I promise, if you fail, you're not going to fall or anything. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to. It is a little odd. So let's see. What would he use for that? That feels like maybe discipline.
Discipline and what would be the
Oh, Yeah, interesting question. What drive are we using now? I do like this idea. I mean, honestly, there's a good argument for truth,
Truth or truth
or duty. Really,
duty.
it
Yeah.
kind of depends on what. And either way,
Yeah.
you can, yeah.
I like it because it fits the what must be done, and I'm doing some
We'll do duty. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this literally is what must be done because
Yeah.
I don't see Talus as the kind of person that's like, hooray, I'm going to balance on a ledge. This is not.
Rather not.
Yeah. If
Discretion is needed.
Fair point. Okay, good call. All right then. Well, in that case, so let's see. What's that? Your target is 15.
I think there is probably
14,
a moment.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Where she's probably like, thinks to herself, I wish this wasn't as. This requires much discretion, so we could just send the girl here.
Oh, that's a fair point. But as you pointed out last week, you're not sure who else you can trust at this particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I've already done did a extraction of sorts.
Yeah, true. Okay, so yeah, it looks like your target's what, 14?
Mm-hmm.
And yep, you're definitely using. Let's see. Oh, actually, you need a focus or two on discipline too, don't you? Because it's 7.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Let me just double check. I have the thing right here. Let's see what.
Yeah, I think you're allowed 2 focuses, foci on anything that's.
Let me just bring up that thing. It should.
Yeah.
Be a second. That's one of my quick.
Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't make you roll for balancing on the ledge because your move is 4. That's
bad. She's not particularly fast.
Okay.
But okay, I have. Sorry, I have the focuses. I'm trying to figure out where they're discipline. You get 2?
Yeah, you get 2.
I would just say
and you don't have to necessarily pick both of them right now.
I'll say espionage as one of those things that
does make sense.
It is
yeah,
necessary for. Feels like something that.
And it fits rather perfectly with the house. Yeah, so that is. So yeah, so you're definitely in. Any success is a critical success land for that.
Okay. How much momentum do we have? We have 3.
I believe momentum is still 3.
Okay. Would like to generate more momentum, so I'm just gonna roll 2d
okay.
20 and see where that goes. All right, that is discipline, and duty, 2 dice. Yes, focus.
Yep, you get to use the focus for sure. And hey, it actually worked.
Yeah.
That should be 2 successes instead of just 1, actually. But so yeah, 2 successes. And yeah, do you want to just throw that other one into momentum?
I'll just throw that.
Yeah, because for this, I can't come up with anything extra.
There's nothing I can think of that would be like super like.
Okay.
We'll keep that. The momentum seems more advantageous for everyone.
I fully agree with that. Thanks, Jim, for updating that. Okay, so now, yeah, windows open. The apartment that you see on the other side of the curtains is curtains are kind of heavy, by the way. Not super heavy, not bulletproof, but heavier than you expected them to be. Possibly soundproofing measure, or maybe to be sure to block the light. You're not sure. But the apartment that you see is a single room, same size as the other apartment that you were in, but this one the walls have been knocked out and it's just one room. But even for that, it's still pretty small. And are you just looking in right now, or are you going in?
I'm gonna go in. I'm going to just close the window behind me,
Right. Okay.
but still like quiet because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly what
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. You step in. It's a well-worn hardwood floor. There is there's a single cot over on one wall, with just pillows and some blankets on it.
Mhm.
There is also the first thing you notice though is one wall has actually been taken up with um, just pictures and things written on paper, and they're connected by strings, and uh, they're all making
Keyboard.
different things are connected to each other. It's a conspiracy board. You've got just everything is out here, and you do recognize some of the people in the pictures. Yours is one of them.
Cool.
Um,
I do have that thing where I can the passive scrutiny and enter a scene. You may ask one question.
yes, you do.
I like this board. This board here. What seems to be the? Do I get an idea overall what the subject of this board is?
It's House Versailles.
Yeah.
Someone is first off, whoever has set this up is on to something. They are making connections. You don't have complete information to know exactly what they are looking for, but given that you are a mentat, you could figure out a significant percentage of it. They the well, okay. First off, the air is at the center of it. And so one of the things they're doing, some of the connections you're seeing are just the connections that are obvious to anyone that's in the house. These are literally the relationships between everyone and the air. So there is in fact a picture of Silas. There is in fact a picture of you. You are over in the consorts area. Nero is also there. There are two question marks next to Nero that look like they should have pictures beside them, but they currently don't. Um, they're but yeah, Silas obviously, like I said, pretty much every major member of the house is represented here. One thing that's interesting is most of these pictures are look like surveillance pictures.
I was
They
about
look,
to, yes, I was about to ask, like, what the nature of these? Are these like these are like our
yeah, these
Candid
facial
model
things, or are they
shoots.
like just
yeah, these are like
looking
headshots. These literally look like pictures that were taken. Most of them earlier. Most of them like a lot of them from the home world, but more than one of them from some other place. You would recognize a lot of them, like the one of you, by the way, is from the home world. It's you just exiting the main house.
There's none I can see where it's inside one of our.
Oh,
Because that's what I'm like. If they're
actually, there is not. All of them are. All of them. Yeah, all of them are definitely external surveillance
it's a level
for sure,
yeah,
and a lot of
level
them are from
concern
pretty
is-
far away. A
Yeah.
lot of them have the hallmarks of like telephoto lenses,
yeah,
things
so
like that.
If there's some from like bug from inside, then we have problems. We
Yeah,
have-
you're not seeing anything
Okay.
like that yet.
Yeah,
However, off to the side of that, there is a list of very well kept and impressively organized files. And each file is a dossier on a different member of the house. And just skimming through it, their information's pretty good. You spot a few things that are off. But again, these have more pictures of each of you. Some of those pictures were taken here on this planet.
Yeah.
Much more recent. For
Is there-
example, they have a picture of Rose entering Lord Reginald's apartment,
Oh.
which means there is a new dossier, a newer dossier on Lord Reginald now.
Mhm. Considering the subject of interest here, how are there any conspicuous persons absent that would be
Oh yeah. Let me see.
if it was somebody like close to the, if we're all there and there's someone that's close that's in the
Yeah.
isn't that's
There is Hunter did not make it onto the board, but there is a dossier on Hunter.
hmm.
So like Hunter's not, whoever this is hasn't figured out like how Hunter fits in yet, which means the dossier that you've got on Hunter is really slim. A lot of question marks on that one. What else? Trying to think if there's anyone. There is no important member of the house that is missing from either the dossiers or the board. Interestingly enough, there are a few dossiers of much lower level members of the house. Just a couple, like 4 or 5.
I mean, that's to be expected.
Yeah, just
In more
servants.
ways.
Yeah.
If there's anybody that can,
Yeah, but your scrutiny is telling you that this person is trying to figure out relationships that go deeper than the surface for sure. They are also attempting to do something more like they're trying to establish patterns. They're trying to establish patterns of movement or activity.
Oh, this might be like something that may be Lynn that I'm gonna pattern the pattern. Is there a pattern to what they're like?
I like that.
Is there a line of like combined like what they're looking for in their kind of
if this were a chess game and if this were a chess game, they are trying to figure out how to capture the queen, but in this case the queen is the heir, not the consort or the high chancellor.
I was gonna say I should take picture, but I don't need that.
Nope.
It's all in here now.
Oh no, you got it. You looked at it for longer than 30 seconds. It's in your head. Yeah.
It's here. God, I wish I had that. I wish I didn't have the thing. Like I could remember things more than like 6 numbers long.
You and me both. That would be awesome.
I always get that thing. It's like type this number in until for the identity. It's like I forgot it.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone.
It'd be so good for passwords.
Oh man, it'd be the best.
What was it's like? What was the confirmation? I have to look at the thing again.
I've already forgotten it. My son, by the way, does have that memory. It's impressive to watch. I don't know where he got it. Wasn't for me. So.
Oh God. Okay, so that's there. That's interesting. So this is all focused on the air. That's that's something. Now that I've looked at it, I can like digest that if I need to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can come back to it. And you can remember the basics of what they have in the dossiers. And like I said, there is nothing in any of the dossiers that is blatantly false. There are, however, given the nature of your house, there is some incorrect information that you have seeded into the world, and some of that is in the dossier.
Good.
So it's that has
I mean, to some degree,
that's working. Yeah.
Good. But this is all juicy and all, but like I need to figure out where there's any of these things that could help with this signal in this apartment.
Oh, I forgot to mention, because that was the biggest thing in the room. There
Yeah.
is communications equipment here.
Okay.
It's fairly small. It's a handheld device, but it's like kept in its own box.
Mhm.
It's one of those things that you right now it's unplugged. It can neither like receive nor communicate without being plugged in. The device that you used to pick it up didn't require it to be transmitting. You were just literally looking for the materials that something like that could be made of.
Mhm.
But right now, yeah, it's unplugged, which means, um, I mean, it's sitting right beside the socket that it would be plugged into. But other than that, yeah, it's not. And there's nothing particularly unusual about it. It's a fairly common handheld, just radio device.
Okay. So there's not.
It probably has some encryption built in, but it's not like military grade or anything like that.
Mhm. It's something that is meant. It's relying on the you're not looking for it rather than passing any sort of like intense scrutiny as far as like
Right.
encrypting it. Like it's meant to just kind of like be invisible until and not necessarily stand up when it's detected necessarily. That's
Exactly.
okay, that means we can just absorb the signal if we need to, or we can, if we have something that can pick it up within the area.
Now that you know where it is, you could
Yeah.
point something specific. You could point a passive detector at this
Yeah,
place.
which means this
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need this thing, and I prefer to leave this area as
That's a good point. Yeah.
because I would like them to use this space without
You're exactly right. Yeah.
so I'm going to just do a pass around this apartment, like kind of like
Okay.
see if there's any like hollow areas, like any like sensitive information is dropped or hidden, things that like
You find no kidding, just the classic loose floorboard. It's got interestingly, what it has is a small laser gun, and a stash of local money, um, along with currency that can be used across the galaxy, and then also a stash of currency. I'm trying to think if you recognize it right off. You probably do. A stash of currency that is oh, actually no, it's not currency. It's just actually a small quantity of spice.
how unusual is this? Will this be this is just something that would be used for like this is does it amount to this is something that would amount to like this is alternate payment or alternative.
Yeah, the handful of spice that's in this is worth more than this building. So yeah, it's probably, if you again, given your training and your abilities, your guess is that it's probably used as currency rather than for the thing a lot of people use it for.
And this means that this has decent connections.
That's true. It's not a lot of spice, but even this amount, you'd have to.
Like I imagine that like it's guarded well, like a very very intensely like kind of like hoarded.
Yeah.
That like it's not like you're gonna find like, oh, everyone has a little, or people have baggies of this thing everywhere. No, this is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not unheard of, but it is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, there is also there is a small safe that is tucked back in a closet. And by small, I mean quite small, maybe 18 inches high, like sort of an 18-inch cube. It's rather small. And the lock is, as far as you can tell from here, actually, I was going to say it's a standard combination lock. That's not true. It's actually a really impressive. I mean, again, it's not super tech, but it's beyond your ability to break into. But it's otherwise it is a combination lock, but there's more to it than that.
Interesting. And it would be more intense than having to like spend a lot of time with this thing.
In this case, it would, because yeah, picking the lock is one thing, but safe cracking is a whole other skill.
Okay.
And a simple safe you might be able to work with, but this has got you can tell, again, your training and the house you come from, you can tell that this takes someone that studied it in order to get into.
Mm-hmm.
But it does bring up the question: if they're keeping their spice under the floorboard, what's in the safe?
Yeah. You know what? I'm curious. So. I'm gonna wait a decent, like some amount of time, as much as I can. Like, if someone comes in.
Where are you going to wait? I mean, it is only one room, so there's only so much you can. Yeah, but are you going to conceal yourself or just be there?
I'm just gonna have the line of sight, I think, keep me obscured, because I need to not be like hidden someplace where I actually have to act. So I would actually like to be like in a position where I can kind of like react. However,
you only have to wait about half an hour when something is slid under the door. It's an envelope.
Mm-hmm. Gonna wait. I'm gonna give it some time before like go and grab it, but I'll check.
Okay. The envelope itself is plain. Looks like it was bought locally. No.
This is a rare. It's a rare envelope. No. It's like,
and nothing's written on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not sealed.
Okay.
So yeah. So now here's the thing. On the inside, whatever. Okay. Yes, there are words written on it, but it's clearly in a code.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, can you figure out the code? I think so. Because again,
I think
you're a mentat.
Yeah, mentat at my level of like, I think it would.
I don't know that any other character would have a shot at this,
yeah,
but I think
it's reasonable that like the espion, like the amount of like would have like you kind of like
that plus mentat you can you got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so let me think about this. It'll take a roll though, because it's not an easy code.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, we're trying to like, even with biocomputer, it's not like
a
little while.
So you have a shot at not getting this.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be 2 successes. Again, I think we're going to discipline.
Okay.
What do you feel like for the drive?
Truth. I want to know what this thing is. I think.
That checks out. Okay, so now you're looking at 15.
Okay. I think I might use that momentum to see. I want to know.
Okay,
I
so give
really
you
want
3
to know what
dice.
this thing is.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So discipline and truth. Okay. And I can.
And you're
use the
definitely using your focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Truth. 3 dice. Focused.
Whoa.
3 successes.
I think actually that's 4 successes because you were using your focus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's the discipline. Yeah.
This isn't doing it. This isn't adding all the successes I think it should. So you actually ended up with 4 successes, only 2 of which you needed to figure out the code.
Yeah.
Okay. If you spend a 3rd success, you won't have to work as hard to figure out, like, okay, so you crack the code. It takes a little while, but you figure out what it is.
Yeah.
But then you realize it's just a bunch of numbers. For a 3rd success, you will learn what the numbers mean. Do you want to spend your 3rd success?
Yes.
Okay, so for the 3rd success, you realize that they are coordinates that equate to an address in the city, but not just. Let me think. Yeah, but that's it. Again, interestingly enough, the way that they've set it up, though, is they are coordinates that apply as if this apartment were the 0, 0 point on the graph. So that's why it took you a little extra time to figure out what it was. You're like, oh, these are coordinates. I figured that out. But then if I use literally where I am right now as the center, I can figure out how far to move that way and that way, and then compare it to a map, and you know what the address is. So you've got that.
What?
And momentum is now back up to 4.
What is the manner of the how they wrote this down and like typed?
It was handwritten.
Interesting.
In very precise block letters, in the manner of someone that was trying to dispel all traces of any personality in the handwriting.
Of course.
And by the way, they did it really well. So you also know you're up against someone with some training, whoever left this note. Maybe not House Versai level training, but you aren't the only spies in the universe.
There's a part of me that wants to like see if I can like mess with the coordinates on this. But, like, I would like if this person is operating like on a high level of like espionage, like I don't want to like add anything to like this thing that would make this thing be a miss.
That's a fair point. But I understand the impulse.
It's like that would be a first thing. If I was to look at this, I would, check. And the coordinates are going to be something that would have some extra scrutiny on it. So I don't like my thing is here, if I can get out of here without making it look like anything was
you can
put out. I would like that just to
you have time to do that, and you remember exactly where the envelope landed. You can put it right back there. Yeah, you can do that.
Because I don't want whoever this is to. I'm compromised, so like we gotta.
Oh, fair point.
I want to know what this thing is in as pristine scenario as possible. So.
Oh, and while you're in here, you were probably going to do this already, but this will make the decision for you. There are things on the door that you won't be able to put back in place that will tell someone if it's been opened. So you're gonna have to leave through the window. Like I said, you were probably planning on that anyway.
Yeah.
But you can see it. It's the equivalent of just putting a hair across it. You know what I mean? So.
Yep. So, window again, and then just go out through the other.
And that part's easy. Yeah, it's it's a little slow, but it's easy. And you did all this relatively quickly. Even like the sort of half hour that you spent hanging around, this didn't take all that long. So you're out before next door neighbors have come back from work as well.
Yeah.
So to the best of your knowledge, you were undetected.
Yeah. So first thing is to like have someone just monitor the signals from that thing.
Right.
Now that we know that.
Yeah, you get your communications people on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have to talk to I should probably bring this up with Silas.
Oh, you might want to.
Yeah. No. It's totally unrelated. There's nothing. It's just a springboard with the air. That's all.
We can cut to that if you want. Silas is in town.
Yeah. I think you'll get someone to either your contacted or someone will send for you. And they will urgent.
Right. So you're sending someone to inform Silas about this.
Well,
The
I
quickest
think
way. I would say the quickest way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Silas, if he hears this info, he would want to visit the apartment himself, but don't know if it's safe to do that. It's like, what? Someone's watching us? How dare they?
How dare they watch it? That's our job. We should. This is our place.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I think he would actually be, because you said that one of the pictures of Rose is her going to Sir Reginald, right?
Yep.
So that is like literally happening right now, like her meeting. So that means someone's watching her right now, is it?
It was some hours ago. By the time Talus found it.
So that means there are literally dissidents who.
I think for effect, I think that's the first thing. So, did a little snooping with things for the information. I was able to check in on the apartment and found some interesting things there.
What things?
Surveillance, us, and most importantly, our most loved heir.
Date?
At this point, I wish I could have had a camera, but like just to go from my memory, it was hours ago at the meeting with what was the guy's name? Sorry,
Lord Reginald.
with Lord Reginald, knowing the heir schedule, how recently that was.
Yeah, like the moment he hears Silas, wherever he is, whatever he do, he just shoots up to his feet, like.
Yes,
And
you truly realize how important this is.
who is the owner of this house?
I don't think it.
Wait, what did you say? You are
Probably.
suddenly very
Yeah.
soft. Give me a moment. Okay, yes.
We might need that fire later, but I think that place, I have personally looked through it, and we have gotten the information that we need, and we need that person. That person's not necessarily responsible for whatever they're planning. They're obviously working with somebody else, because I also found a significant portion of spice in there, which you know how expensive that is. Lone Wolf isn't going to necessarily have that amount of support, so what we're looking for is way higher in the food chain. And I did get some information of a meeting spot, and I will draw, just on one of the maps that I've probably laid out here.
Okay, wait, hello.
Oh,
Sorry, you cut off a bit for me just now near the end.
So I'll pinpoint on a map where the coordinates led to.
Okay.
What did the coordinates actually, like what part?
It's in another part of town, a more expensive part of town.
Mhm.
the sort of the places where the middle managers might live, or some of the lower level professionals. And it is yeah, looking at the map though, it's not a house, it is a restaurant that caters to the morning crowd, which means it is while the sun's down, it is not open.
Do you want me to check the place out?
If you wish, I would also offer you a chance to maybe. We could delegate this, but I don't know. If you wanted to, maybe tail whoever's supposed to meet.
Yes, that does sound like a better idea. I'll put my people on it. Like Silas is for a split second, he's like, because Rose is not here, and he's like just panicking a bit, but he's getting himself back under control.
Got it.
I think the air will be fine. Where they are, I think whatever is meant to go down, I have the distinct calculation that whatever they plan to do is going to be here. So if that puts your mind at ease, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but it's a little bit of reassurance.
Yes,
and if they
and
need
I
to
appreciate
meet,
it.
I don't think they're ready to necessarily put things into action quite yet.
That is true.
But I'd figured you'd want some part in figuring out who this is, at least personally.
Yes, you thought right.
Of course. Is there anyone else we should bring into this, do you think?
Perhaps we should bring in Nero. We're going to need as many eyes on this as possible. This seems like a very important thread that we must pull.
Different forms of subtlety, of course.
Yes.
Well,
all right.
I'll bring him over, and we'll figure out what we need to do with this.
All right. Assemble.
Yeah, I'll send for. Yeah, I'll have someone send for Nero.
All
Yeah.
right. Is Nero currently in orbit?
No. The good news is Nero is not, and I can catch you up. Do we want to take a quick break after this? Is that everyone good with that?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
So I can catch you up with the thing that your agent wants to tell you fairly quickly, and then we can take a break, and then we'll come back with maybe all of you talking or something. Yeah. Okay. With you having been informed, I mean, actually, before we do that, Talus, or which of you is asking for Nero's presence?
I think Talus would, because I think it would of course with the backing of the consort. I mean, the consort doesn't necessarily know right now, but it has that urgency to it.
Okay, yeah, you're sending it with that tone though. Got it. Okay, fair point. All right. So yeah, Nero, you will receive that forthwith. But until that happens, so yeah, your agent, the two of you were able to speak relatively plainly because you found an area where you know your conversation can't be monitored. But even with that, she's talking in not code but in euphemisms,
right?
In order to make sure you know.
She knows that's my language.
Actually, that's true. If she came out and said it, you would be like, "What? I have none of these words are penetrating." So what she says is, on the most recent Highliner, there was a particularly large shipment that whoever brought it paid for maximum discretion. But I thought you'd want to know about it. And we have the point A and point B. And it's impossible to move something this big and this heavy without a certain level of trail. The destination, and there's maps of the planet all over the place. And so the island that she points to is an island that's been coming up a lot lately. It's that house that island Latan still owns. She's like, it was delivered here. This is the place it stopped. And it's not just a little big, it's big. It's like, when the navigators move somewhere, whatever it was like the size of 2 of those. Maybe 3.
Good Lord. Yeah. That's a lot of cocktail mix.
And she says, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out exactly which ship it came off of, but I'm working on it.
Excellent.
I'm not going to set off any alarms, but I'll do what I can.
How are we with I just wanted to check into hospitality for for a few special guests.
Okay.
That also while we're out looking, and this is me wedging in slightly that the thing of importance of most importance he's doing with the guild is the trying to figure out who's talking to the mentats. At this point, this was the next thing on the list, basically. But
you mean those 4 mentats? Yeah. The 4 mentats that are now 2 mentats?
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. So yeah, it's just basically the special guests. Yeah.
She says, no one here.
That's good to know. Well, it's
and she says that with a high degree of confidence, as if she was curious about it too.
Yeah.
And as they don't appear to have been talking to anyone within the guild ecosphere.
The local guild ecosphere or the
space guild ecosphere? Yeah, the space
guild. That's what
the
local space. That's here's the thing.
Guild.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I know. The reason. Sorry. The Spacing Guild's presence on this planet, or the Spacing Guild at large?
As a whole, as far as she can tell, they have not approached the guild about anything.
That is now remind me if I'm wrong. That is counter to some intelligence we received, right? That they were talking to someone in the guild.
Yes.
Trying to remember the source of that intelligence. I wrote something down.
That was while Silas was following them, actually.
Okay. Well, maybe
Silas spotted them talking to a definite guild representative. That person was uniformed even.
Okay, I gotcha. So that'll be, maybe we can dump that. Maybe that'll be sorted out shortly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. So that's basically, that's all I think I needed to know for the time being. And I just wanted to thank, who is this person who is helping me?
Her name is Marissa.
Marissa?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I'll tell. Where's that? Thank you. Just glad to know we can. Good. Glad we can always rely on good old fashioned curiosity. Let me know. And she knows I do this kind of thing. I just basically
right. Yeah.
It's
she's worked with you before.
Yeah. And so just basically be like, you're like, well, as it turns out, I've got I've got a meeting in a little bit. Or no, he's not going to say a meeting. He's not going to tell her he has a meeting. What is he going to say? I've got it. Oh yeah, I've got it. Well, speaking of cocktails, I've got I've got a luncheon I've got to do.
Oh, that's
And
it. Yeah.
so do let me know how that goes. Want to make sure we're being as hospitable as we can to those we need to be hospitable to.
Absolutely. And as far as that shipment, I'll get as much as I can.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. That'd be good. I want to make sure that they're getting everything they deserve.
I'm on it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Marissa. Let me just see if there's anything else. No, we're good. The other stuff was just, is there anything weird going on? I think we're good. All right, good. Okay. Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
I will then head to my luncheon.
It's your luncheon.
Yes.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll figure out the details on that, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Excellent. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. I'm going to go ahead and send us to break. We shall have a break. I've got I have an interview I can throw in if we so desire, and we'll be back after that, and we shall plot. Excellent.
Thanks, everyone.
See you folks shortly. Welcome to the break. I am here with James Introcaso, writer and game designer. Greetings.
Greetings.
And we are going to talk a bit about the game Zweihander, which you've been doing some work on. Now, I'm not actually deeply familiar with the game. I've been sort of around the edges of it, so maybe you can help sort of introduce us to this game and what it's about. What is Zweihander and what's it about?
So Zweihander is a game that was created by Daniel Fox, and it's put out by Andrews McMeel Publishing. It is a grim and perilous role-playing game. So it takes place in, assumes that it takes place in a sort of medieval fantasy world. There are firearms and things, so it's around that sort of fire army time. I'm not very good with my world history, as you can tell, but it also has a lot of themes that we would expect probably to see in some older role-playing games. Things like not everybody trusts magic and thinks that maybe it's witchcraft and bad. It's magic is not like used in healing a lot. So a lot of what makes it grim and perilous is that combat in the game and other hazards that you run into are usually very deadly, and you need to look out for that. And you might spend weeks in between adventures kind of recuperating if you take a lot of damage during an adventure and are lucky enough to survive. And you can get infections and that sort of thing. So that's what makes it grim and perilous. But what makes it really interesting is kind of the dark bent that is there, and what toll does adventuring take on people who choose to take up an adventuring life, right? It's about both the physical toll and the mental and emotional toll that can kind of be put upon people who decide that they will take on adventuring. And it uses a D100 system. So it's like a skill-based system. I think it's very similar to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd edition. So if you are familiar with that, there's a bunch of different skills. You have a certain percentage in those skills. You roll D100 to see if you get under that percentage. If so, you succeed. If not, you fail. That's sort of the very, very, very basic rules in Zweihander. And it is a ton of fun. It is a lot of fun to play because it's got a sense of humor to it. And I would say a little bit almost like Evil Dead, right? Like when you're reading the book, there are some little jokes and jabs and things like that. It doesn't take itself too seriously. So for all of its heavy and emotional weight and being about human suffering and things like that, it is also a very fun book to read, and it's a very fun game to play because of those reasons. And it's meant to explore darker themes. It's definitely not one you would want to play like with your kids. This is one for adults in that sense, that it is more violent and more deadly and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's very cool that they're trying to be at least the gritty realism thing. There are, of course, a lot of different varied opinions on how one achieves that, but it sounds like this is a very they're trying to do something that's a good balance.
They are.
Which is good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rules for resolving things without combat, right? There's really in-depth chase rules for when you're running away from something. How do you get away from it, right? And there's very in-depth social interaction rules because Zweihander assumes like, okay, well, we've made combat very deadly. You're probably not going to resort to combat at first in most situations because you're really taking a risk when you do. And so I really appreciate that, right? Like there's all sorts of different skills that you can use to get out of different situations and overcome obstacles while you're adventuring. It's not just hack, right? It's a lot of like, okay, well, maybe we're going to go into battle. Well, how do we best go in here? Well, let's prepare the battlefield. Let's dig pits for traps, spill lamp oil everywhere so we're ready to light it on fire. Like all that kind of stuff is really, really fun to do and encouraged. And I think what's great about Zweihander is it gives you a lot of the tools to do that. So, right, when I look at some other old school role-playing games, it's hard because it's like, yeah, your players are going to want to do stuff. Let them do it. But they don't give you the tools and mechanics necessarily to go there and do those things when your players improv. This one really does. It gives you a lot of tools to be able to improv and a lot of optional things. This is the core rule book right here. And what I also like about it is I feel like a lot of these grittier old school role-playing games, we don't see a ton of character options, right? It's like you're a wizard, you get one spell level per level, right? Or hey, you're a fighter, your attack bonus goes up +1 each level, and that's it. Zweihander is a super duper customizable and has a very, very fun character creation system that involves a lot of rolling on random tables to see who you create and a lot of different character options. And you also get like 3 different professions throughout your career. You start with one, and then when you get to a certain level, add another, and then you add another. And you can mix and match any of them in the book, leading to a lot of different combinations of characters. So I really like that and appreciate that like you're not bored as a player because you can do a lot of different things and you're highly customizable with it.
Nice. There's one other thing I wanted to ask you about, and I don't know how mechanical this is in the system, but you did talk about Zweihander addressing the psychological effects of adventuring, and I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about how that game addresses that.
Sure. So there's a couple of different tools in Zweihander for that. One is called corruption. So in Zweihander, you have alignment, but it's different than what we know in D&D alignment. You have an alignment that exists on a law and a chaos scale, and you have like 2 ends of that, right? So like one is like your lawful alignment might be like piety, and then your chaotic on that spectrum would be like fanaticism, right? So it's like, hey, these are 2 sides of the same coin. And you have this resource called corruption. And every time you do something that is questionable in nature, and I don't just mean robbing a shopkeep, but certainly that, but also like you leave a bunch of people to fend for themselves with a monster because you want to survive, you gain corruption. And as you gain corruption, then at the end of the session, you make a roll to see, based on how high your corruption is, do you swing more towards your chaotic rank or more towards your lawful rank? And so over time, you build up law and chaos, and you get different things as you achieve those points, right? And on the chaos end of the spectrum, you could like turn into a vampire or become a werewolf or that kind of thing. But you also can take two different sort of damage tracks. There's a physical damage track, and then there's a peril track. And peril is like your stress. And so as you become more stressed, things can happen to you that can permanently affect your character, as well as injuries, right? Like you could lose a hand and that affects your character, right? And you can get prosthetics and things like that to help you out. But so there, the same way that damage can have some permanent effects, physical damage, peril can have some permanent effects on your character as well as magic. If you're a magic user, you're like pulling from the chaos, and you can channel that chaos to make your spell more powerful and give it a better chance to succeed. But whenever you do that, you also run the risk of giving yourself some magical kind of manifestations that can permanently or temporarily affect your character. And the same thing is true with stress and with damage. Some injuries only affect your character for a small amount of time, some for a larger amount of time.
Cool. Very cool. Well, now, this, as of this recording, is not out yet, but I understand you're working on a thing that uses Zweihander, are you not?
Yes, I am. So, and it's a full length adventure. And when I say full length, I mean hardcover, gonna be a lot, at least 250,000 words kind of thing. That you could sit down, you'll create characters in the beginning to play it, and probably be ready to retire them by the time you are done, right? And so I can't say too much more about that, but I am allowed to say that I am working on that. So I've been doing a very deep dive. Pretty much every day I'm working on the manuscript. Because 250,000 is a lot of words to get that done and to get that into the hands of the various editors and things like that. And I'm play testing it once a week as I am writing. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. It's very fun for me to work in a system. You know, Burn Bright has one mode. This is a totally different mode for me that I'm used to working in. So I'm very, very excited to be doing that.
Can we say the name of the project?
I don't think we can actually,
okay.
other
All right,
than
no problem.
TBA's Zweihander project. Andrews McMill is currently like looking into the name to see if they can get it.
Oh,
right?
gotcha.
So,
yeah.
We could give it a code name though, if you want, Jim.
What should we code it?
Yeah. I will say that the word eternal is probably going to be in the title. I'm just going to leave it there.
Excellent. Awesome. So the code name is Eternal or some synonym thereof.
Right.
Awesome.
Yes.
So if folks are wanting to look into this and see more about it when it's coming out, what should they be keeping an eye on?
They should head on over to, I guess, Zweihander's website, which I believe is zweihander.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at James Intricasso. Worldbuilderblog.com will have updates. That's my blog. And also, if you follow Daniel D. Fox, he is leading the development editing for this. He is at Zweihander RPG on Twitter. So those are all good places where you will definitely be able to find more updates as this comes out.
Awesome, James. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jim. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. You're beautiful people.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you folks so much. Well, we're going to throw things back to whatever it is that I'm doing right now. Take care. We will see you all of a sudden.
Yep, we'll see you then. Take it away, future Jim.
Greetings, humanity. Thank you for raiding Hawkeye. Hi. And we have returned, and I guess we've got a convo to do.
So my first question, though, is to Talus. Where are you having this meeting?
I mean, in my quarters.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to be sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
There's no place that is more personally secure than.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah. Okay. So
any sensitive discussions, we can just have it here because it's just like.
Yeah, you're right. I can't think of a safer place, so I think you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nero, you get the message, and do you do anything before you arrive, or do you just head straight over?
I arrange to. How do I do this properly? Actually, it doesn't matter. So I do that thing where I set up where like I you know the usual thing that when I go to one of these meetings, where I will just kind of arrange to make it seem like I'm doing something ridiculous and gregarious,
right? Okay.
But that I will be away, but that will allow me to be away for a while.
Right.
I do this, and I kind of said this at the top, but I put forth this kind of this image for Nero that he's kind of a lazy, corrupt Spacing Guild person who is probably a little shady. And that's, I mean, toward the guild as well, a little bit probably. Because that's, because he was spying on them. But at the same time, it's like, so he allowed him to learn how to grease the wheels and all that.
Absolutely.
But but at the same time, like, still will, is good at his job.
Right.
But so it's one of those things where we need entertainment. Fetch me 5 lions or something. I don't know the thing. There's something. It's basically that kind of thing where he essentially is going to be. He'll put forth another of those things where he's kind of he's probably off doing something ridiculous like that, but where it'll be easy for him to detach and not actually go and do that.
Right, exactly. Okay.
It comes down to it.
So you've got your cover story in place as you head over. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, time passes and all 3 of you are together.
Yay.
All right.
Well, glad you could make it.
Yeah. Yes. It's always nice to be able to get a little break from the tedium of processing guild requests.
So how should we handle this?
And I'll kind of pass over like a little bit of like handwritten stuff for Nero. It's like the information that I've gleaned from all your wonderful work gave me these coordinates, and I duly investigated them, and we've come across somebody trying some sort of conspiracy in our midst, somehow very interested in us and the heir in particular. And there was a transfer of information that I came across that led to this space and some meetings.
Interesting. We know where this is?
Yes, it's a restaurant.
Ah. Fascinating.
Some sort of handoff, possibly exchange information, confirmations of some sort. I made sure to leave the premises in spotless condition, untouched, so that whatever they're doing here will not, whatever I did, will not raise any alarms. So hopefully this meetup of some sort will continue unchanged. which leads for what we want to do with it. And I figured we want you here because this is something that I think that your particular talents and skills could help with.
Oh. Well, I suppose it depends on which version of me you want to you want to be there. You want me to?
We should probably have both there in case. You know how plans are.
Fair enough. So if there's anybody you need me to chat with, distract, that kind of thing, I can easily do that. You need me there as me, I can try to, or if you need me to be more stealthy, I can. I seem to be able to do that.
I'll leave it to you at your discretion. It is a public setting, and while they interesting note with the dossiers that this person collected, they did have one on each of us, but
oh, interesting.
Not anyone in particular on your side other than you.
Really?
There was a nice blank area like that.
There's so much we can do with that, actually.
Yes.
So we can give. Do you want us to? Shall we give them bait? Or do we think that'll be? I mean, this meeting here is something we just want to observe, right? Or is there something we want to?
Hopefully they can lead us to their to lead to their head or the person who arranged this conspiracy to begin with.
Interesting.
While the accommodations and equipment was rather sparse, I did find you would know this more than anyone else, a not insubstantial portion of spice hidden.
Oh, how many kilos?
And I'll
yeah.
Yeah, not even a full kilo. Just a
how many?
handful.
Whatever our unit of measurement of spice
whatever.
is.
Yeah.
How many milli thingies?
6 teaspoons.
Yeah. And so Nero compares that
size-wise, literally like a handful.
Nero compares that in the back of his head to. That's a lot of spice. Nero compares that in the back of his head to if I were to bribe. How many? If I were to bribe X number of guild people,
this is your expertise area.
Okay, so let me think about this.
What unit of bribery? What is that in bribery units? Is that guild navigator or is that like guild leader?
This is about 1 navigator's worth of spice.
Well, that's a big.
Yeah.
They love it. They love this shit.
Oh, that's not good.
That's
Hopefully it's just the unit of measurement and isn't actually, this is not good. Oh.
No, but if you were to bribe a navigator, this is the amount you would start with. Yeah.
This is a considerable amount. This is big league. It's a big league opening is what I'll say for something like this. You know, Little Bird told me something very interesting recently. I'm hoping these two things are not connected.
Which means they probably are. So
there's a chance.
What did you find out?
No, the bribe's not enough for it to be as horribly directly connected, but one never knows. I don't know if this is going to be relevant to what we're talking about here. There's a chance. So, we're trying to track down a very large shipment that came in of something. We don't know what it is. But they paid for maximum discretion. And the destination was the island of our friends.
Oh, yes.
And
a little bit of mercy.
Yeah, it was big.
A little bit of mercy came back.
Pretty big. It was.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll give these size.
Yeah. You put a lot of things in there. People, things. It's a worrying amount of possibilities that could be smuggled in, which you have the right. You have the right of it of being concerned with it.
Do we know, by the
But-
way, for the meeting at this restaurant, do we know who maybe one of the sides is yet, or do we?
I think as I will also outside that the transmissions that we received that were being received by the apartment also pinged certain island. That's correct, right? Yes. So
Yeah.
So your investigation may be more tied into this
it'll
than
be them.
Mute myself.
you hoped.
Nope, I can hear you. Yeah. You were not muted, Brian. I was able to hear you just then. Unless
There
you
we
can
go.
no longer hear us.
I turned off my speakers because I'm a genius. Okay.
Ah, that
All
happens.
right.
that was
Sorry
me.
about that.
It was
I'm
me.
Oh,
back
no
now.
worries.
More to the
Audio.
point, you're back now. Okay,
Right.
continue.
But yeah, it's yes, the information that the worrying smuggling of size logic and this are more involved than we would wished it. So we should go on the should go in with the idea that our friends from that particular house might be there
Hmm.
in some way.
I have something else,
Maybe-
actually, I probably should let you know.
It's full of information.
I followed up on your earlier query. I tried to find out if anyone who in the guild was talking to our Mentat friends,
Mm.
and it seems, at least to my staff, as though no one in the guild has been talking to them.
The guild.
In the
So
Spacing Guild. Yeah.
mhm. Interesting.
But have we received indications to the contrary?
Yeah, Silas, you know that they were seen talking to a person wearing a guild uniform, but I mean out in the open in the streets. So it didn't look like a clandestine meeting, but you know that the two mentats that were in the city were definitely talking to someone from the Spacing Guild at one point.
Wait, was this me or was this Talus? I don't remember
you.
No,
tracking.
this was you. You actually
Went to-
spotted that back when you were following the. Actually, I don't know if it was you or your agents, but one way or the other, either I can't remember if you saw it or one of your people saw it. Actually, I think you just had your people following it, didn't you? So, but either way, you received that information. So, yeah, you know that. But again, that was like out in the public square. So whatever they were doing, they weren't being they weren't attempting to be clandestine about it.
Oh, but at that time, this guild person, he didn't set off any warning bells for me, right?
No, he's like a level 2 dispatcher.
Okay, so after hearing this and from them, I will tell them what I learned and says, so what are we thinking? Impersonator?
Can you do you have a description of that person?
Yeah, you can
I
provide
offer
it.
the description.
Do I know that guy?
Yeah, from the description and the yeah, because Silas can describe not just the person but the uniform he was wearing, and then the rank insignia is clear. So yeah, sure enough, level 2 dispatcher, a person you recognize for sure.
Do I know this person's name?
Yeah, we'll have to make one up real quick.
All right.
Let's see. Or if you want to do one, that's fine too. But right now, suffice it to say, yes, you know his name. We'll come up with one forthwith. But
let's see. That is what are the pronouns for this?
this is he him.
Okay. Let's see. Do we want to go with maybe we should avoid the V. I almost went for a V name, but I shouldn't do that. because let's see. I think I'm just looking. Yeah. How do we feel about Gavril? Is Gavril?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I think that's a good Dune name. Do that
All
one.
right.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
It's like that sounds like
But
Gavril.
yeah. So, given what you've got right now, Nero, what this tells you is, this conversation happened in a way that your agent was not aware of it. She was looking for people. She was looking for people trying to hide it, and this just literally happened in the street. It's almost like it was too obvious for her to notice.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't paying attention to anything that didn't happen in, like, as a part of guild business, if you see what I mean.
Right. Is that am I higher up than Gavril, or is Gavril higher up than I am?
You are higher.
Okay.
In fact, Marissa is higher. She is also a dispatcher, but she's
Okay.
She's level 5.
Level 5 dispatcher. What are we dispatching again? Ships? Is that it?
I mean, what one would hope.
Yeah. So, boredom. We're dispatching boredom. That's our plan. that's
Actually,
what my staff does.
Yeah.
So he just like.
There we go.
He's not. Gavril isn't one of my isn't one of my.
He is not. No, as far as you know, he's just a regular old employee.
Is he local, or is he
He is local. Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the ones that was hired on World.
Okay. This is Gavril. That's Gavril works here. He's with the local contingent. So this was it sounds like more like, well, I mean, we don't have anything where any sort of special meetings took place, but that might have just been, it might be nothing, but then again, it might be worth looking into.
I'll put someone on it.
I can also ask him if that would be easier. If that'd be easier, but
hey, Gavril.
But
we do not want to tip him off.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, if you want to put it, I can get you his address if you want to go look him up that way.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and I'll go ahead and grab that information and send it over to Silas.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will send messages to my thorns to put an eye on this person.
Okay. After a few minutes, you receive the acknowledgement.
All right, and so this meeting at the restaurant, is it the location of the coordinates?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have any time of their usual meeting?
It didn't have any time coordinates on it. It was only locational.
Okay.
So what's our objective with this? Are we just just listening in, or is there something else we want to do with this?
Yeah. I am hoping that they can lead us to the head.
Yes, get more information on what we're dealing with, who we're dealing with, and what they plan on.
Mm-hmm.
More so than the interest in the air that I managed to glean from rather crude string board dossiers.
Yes.
But I'm assuming that we can put up a sizable amount of subtle surveillance on them. We should be able to find out when they move pretty quickly.
Yes, we should have that restaurant watched and keep an eye out for any persons of interest and have them tailed.
Okay.
I can probably arrange to have some of my staff, being some of the staff, be transferred to worker positions over there.
Yeah.
Should be easy enough.
What I was thinking is, it'd be a good idea to go in and try to swap them out. I'm just trying to think here. There's a oh yeah, What do I know? Well, I haven't been here very long. I'm gonna start looking up on whatever local information there is about this restaurant, and like what sort of does it have a number of stars? Is it how?
It's called Sunrise Hall,
Oh,
and it literally caters to workers on the morning shift that need to get breakfast before they head out to sea. So it's right on the docks of sort of on the northern coast of the Big Island, and they are it's quite busy during the day, but it's only open in the mornings and for a few hours into the day. But otherwise, it remains closed from basically if it's dark, it's not open.
okay. Breakfast place.
Yeah.
So I think that perhaps as far as my involvement in this, I probably should only be brought in to be obvious if there's something if you think it will. I'm guessing since we just want to watch what they do naturally, we don't necessarily want to affect that.
Yes.
So I think it's only if you need a distraction of some kind that I should be brought in to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes, with that, of course, makes a great deal of sense considering that yes, they you wouldn't necessarily be since their establishment that it would be obvious for you to be at any time of the day, and they do know your face.
Yes,
we can use that as a second attempt. We learned who they are first, then perhaps during their second meeting, you can pull up a commotion that might.
Oh yeah, well it's very simple. If we get to a point, sorry, go ahead.
You can put up a commotion that might worry them, and they might attempt to contact whomever their heads are, and perhaps we can track them down that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so that's what I was thinking, is if we have trouble initially, I can come in and I'll actually have an excuse to be out there. I can have breakfast with one of the Ionos people. But if it comes down to it, I can then, be in front of them, and then they can perhaps and they'll probably follow me since there's some blanks they want to fill in. And if we want to control what those blanks are, we can also, it doesn't have to be an Ionos person, but it's a thing that we can probably make work, depending on who we want to throw in there. So as far as the first run goes, I think that unless you'd like, I can be near or on site if you like. If you want me to do something like break into their vehicle, search it, that kind of thing on the outside, I could do that. But and so that aside, if you want me to help out in that way, I certainly can. I just need to stay out of sight is the most important thing.
Of course.
Which I can do that when I need to.
Yes, we are known to these people, so it would be best if our faces are as far away from the vicinity as possible.
Yeah,
as much as we can be. Yes.
Probably remotely. Remotely is a good idea. Yeah, if we want to, if we can, this is something we can do. We can have people there if need be to just sort of figure it out.
The people that they did have, the Saison ended up being, notable persons of the house. I can give you a list of people they had tabs on, and you can delegate that to whatever staff that you have.
Yeah. And actually, yes, if you want to give me a list, I can run it by Vange, and we can just sort of see if there's anybody she knows on there, and she knows a lot, so that's probably be pretty good there.
Yeah, I also look through the dossiers as well to see if there's any of my Thorn agents there.
Oh,
See who are compromised.
they are not. And of course, by looking through the dossiers, what that really means is relying on Talus's memory. But that's just
Yeah.
like
I think Talus
that's-
just wrote down like
Yeah. That's-
members of like relevant staff that for each
Okay.
of them, like these people have.
so. Yeah,
like,
actually,
tabs
none
on.
none of your thorns are on it. Anyone that you would consider to be sort of one of your lieutenants is, though, like anyone that is like sort of directly under you, if you see what I mean. Like the person that you delegate things to, and then that person delegates things. But that would be like 2 people maybe. So they would be on the list. But yeah, none of your thorns are. A few of the a handful of the house servants are on the list. And then, but other than that, it's like senior staff, and then all of the player characters, including Hunter, and then obviously High Chancellor and the consort.
Okay, we can use that to our advantage. Just assign to the lower those that pass under the radar to watch the place.
Yeah, find the people that aren't on the list. Nicely done. Yeah, good call. Okay.
I had something else I wanted to ask about, but I want to wait until we're done talking about this in particular.
Yeah. I think we have a plan for this already. I think Talus, you're putting your people to watch, trail, and see if they lead us to any like interesting personnel that they will interact with at some point.
I think what so I think what Talus is going to do is going to have someone watch what was the house's name, our friends.
Wait, which ones? The one that really wants to kill you?
Yeah.
Latan.
I think keep an eye on anybody coming from like just travel back and forth, to and there, and then
okay.
Yes.
To some extent. Go ahead. No, you go first.
How are you? Yes, actually, that's something else I've got. I haven't received this information yet, but I'm something else I've been trying to look into is if we've got any just historical information about where the Latan folk went, any that didn't stay here. That too was on the list.
Okay.
But yeah.
Like you mean like anyone that just fled the planet, that is just gone.
Yeah,
okay.
I was basically let me see if I've got the comings and goings. No, there's you can see his record of where the members of House Latan went, if any of them went off planet when we took over.
Yes.
And see if we can piece anything together from that.
Some of them did, but from what you know, the higher ups are still here.
Yeah.
Partly out of obligation, because officially they are still required to be here because the handover has not officially happened yet.
Yeah.
So as far as you know, the Baron and his consort are still on planet.
Okay. But they should be like the only ones, theoretically. Aside from their entourage.
They're probably extensive entourage, and then maybe 1 or 2 of the kids, depending. But
gotcha.
But yeah, most of the people of any status other than that would have left.
Okay.
Rumor has it that at least 2 of the children did not get along with the parents in the first place. But
interesting. I'll mention that briefly here. Then it's like, so as far as the guild knows, the only members of the official main house members that should still be on the planet should be the Baron and his consort. Maybe 1 or 2 of the kids, possibly. We're not completely sure on that. Although, goodness knows where or they might have. They apparently they didn't necessarily get along as well with their parents, so it's sometimes according to gossip, that you hear. But
Well, you know how gossip is.
yeah, it's a grab bag. Interesting. I am going to turn to Silas. And by the way, have you had any progress in flipping the?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh no!
Can you not hear me?
Other.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
back?
You're all
Yay.
moving now.
Okay, good.
Oh crap!
I just heard like Jim goes, I'm gonna turn to Silas, and then
I'm like,
everything
oh,
froze.
And it did.
Oh no!
Oh no. Things are
Yeah.
messing up again. No.
Interesting.
Please.
Okay.
Not now.
Hello.
Hello.
I guess I'll also point
All right,
out.
you're moving now.
Yeah. That aside from that one shipment that I told you about recently, traffic to and from that island has been unusually light. At least what we can observe. I have a feeling there's a chance they might be getting serviced in other ways as far as at least on planet goes, but we've already talked about that. They're doing
that, and
anything
they've already
under the water.
gotten their people in place
Yeah.
off the island. So I should probably acquaint myself with our own information on whoever they could have in their employ.
Yeah.
That could be here.
Sorry, yes. Well, speaking of which, and he turns to Silas, where are we on flipping that art smuggler?
Oh yeah.
Has it happened again? Oh, sorry. Can
Oh no.
you hear us okay?
Oh no.
Maybe not.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
There's a lot of oh no in this conversation.
Oh, no.
this evening. Yeah, Nicky unfortunately appears to be frozen.
Oh man.
So we'll sort
well.
that out. It's just at that moment, just at the very moment.
Just said that.
The
Shoot.
there's
Shoot.
a
I have to admit, our internet outages seem to be dramatically inclined.
I know.
Oh, that was
No!
Okay, the reset.
Yeah,
having
reset.
to reset. Okay, well,
he'll be back.
there's
Okay.
there's a thing that I will provide if it comes down to it. Hello.
Yeah,
Nicky.
I'm back.
Yay. Okay.
My God.
Okay.
Things are
Yeah.
going haywire.
Oh, that
God.
sucks.
All right.
Oh, that's.
All right.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. Shall we try again? Shall I try to make
Yes.
Shall I try to say this thing I've been trying to say to you?
Hurry.
Yes,
Right.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. No, that's all right. It's not your fault. So Nero will turn to Silas, and we'll we'll ask. So where are we on? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No.
This question is cursed. I can't ask this question. I think it's cursed. The internet has cursed this inquiry.
Too relevant. It's too relevant.
Man.
Oh my God. I don't know what's happening.
Just if you,
I don't know what's happening.
If you say it without like that first part of it,
Yeah, maybe I can say it without saying it. There.
Don't mention the character's name. Let's try to fool it.
Where are we on flipping that guy? the art smuggler.
Oh, hello.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh God, yeah, I can hear you now. Hopefully, it remains that way.
Okay.
Good.
Oh
Where are
God,
we
I
in-
haven't even thought about the art smuggler in.
Yeah.
What information have I think the last time
You do have
I was like
information
trying to
about
get
you.
her.
Actually, everything is in place for that operation to happen. You've got the information you need. You've got like times and places that he's likely to be seen. You've got more to the point. you've got if you want to approach it this way, you've got like a specific job that he will find almost impossible to turn down. Because I mean, if you're looking for art, you're the house with it. So you've got some stuff. You've got things that like a specific thing to move from point A to point B that first off makes sense for your house to ask for, and secondly, it would be incredibly lucrative for someone like that.
Alright.
So if you wanted to do it that way, you've got everything in place.
All right. Yeah. And I guess I will say I have everything in place for it. I've been holding off for it so far, but shall I proceed with that?
Yeah, and Nero will look over at Talus. Just I think I can't hear you.
Oh, so it seems like a good idea.
Oh, got it.
I will look back to Silas. Incidentally, if something, it sounds like you've got this locked down. Excellent. If you need to sweeten the pot at some point or make things a little bit easier in one direction or another, I can throw some and he'll take out whatever device is used for this. You can throw some guild credits your way if you need to. You want to make this. If you need to do anything to make it a smoother ride for him, I'll put it that way. As far as
I will keep that in mind.
Getting through places. And
yeah.
So just
and again, I will put the word out.
I'll casually like candy toss the thing to Silas so that.
All right. Yeah. In that case, yeah, I will just reach out to my people and say, proceed with that operation.
Okay, they are on it.
Operation Catfish. I don't know. And just send it out.
It is an ocean planet.
It's fair. My God.
All right. So just to make sure I understand this, what you've got right now is people that are not you, because your pictures are on a wall.
Yeah, basically.
Observing this restaurant, and informing you again, all three of you, when anything obvious goes down. So that's not a problem. And in fact, before we wrap up tonight, it'll happen the next day, but I can let you know what you find out.
All right.
Let's see. By this time, I think Talus and Silas both have people watching this place. So one way or the other, you're gonna get this information. You end up having to sort of put it together from what both of your people observed, but it works. So you get a description of a tall, lanky person, otherwise just dressed as a worker. Again, there are people that obviously work for the Salt Guild because they will usually be wearing like Salt Guild coveralls and things like that. And then there are just the more general laborers that work for whatever company or operation is in place. And those are most of the workers. So this person's dressed like one of those. Your people report that he actually did a pretty good job of looking like one of those, and may in fact be one of them. But they caught him. He did not meet with anyone. Obviously, he came in. He had breakfast by himself. Well, actually, there's a long counter, and he sat at the counter, but otherwise didn't really interact with anyone. But what he did was he actually, on his way out, picked up something that was clearly a dead drop. That was a small package, and then did it rather discreetly. But you had enough people observing that it got noticed. So he pocketed whatever the small package was, and left. And then, of course, one or more of your people, actually several of your people followed him because they were doing the. It's easier to follow someone when you outnumber the person you're following because you could trade up the faces. So in fact they did that. And they followed him. First off, unsurprisingly, back to that apartment that Talus broke into. But at least you know that this person has access to that apartment and is probably the person that actually inhabits the apartment. But as you have all pointed out, not only do you have communications people pointing receivers at that apartment, you also have people literally watching the apartment. More than one person has gone in and out of that apartment, and you have descriptions of 3 specific people. The person that goes in and out the most is the guy that showed up at the restaurant and picked up whatever the package was. But you've also got 2 other people, a woman and a shorter man, that you have descriptions of now. And you've got people doing their best to follow them, but they're keeping their distance.
Do we see who put the dead drop?
You don't. You know that the guy picked something up, but you don't know who planted it.
All right. And those 2 extra people, do we recognize them as like
Not
people
from the
of import?
Not really. Yeah, not from the descriptions. They seem to be your people guess that they are locals that were hired for this, but they also their assessment is that the guy that did the dead drop is the only one with any formal training in this kind of thing. But the other 2 people do seem to have been given instructions to follow that keep them from being that make their activities a lot less obvious. But also,
so you say the other 2 don't seem as professional, is it?
They do not. Although all 3 of them, the assessment from your people, and by your people I mean both yours, Silas's, and Talus's. Your people, the assessment that you get from them is that all 3 of them are local, but Tall Guy is the only one with any like actual spy training.
The other one's just methods of delivery rather than.
Yeah,
actually.
although they have entered and exited that apartment. So
Yeah.
So those 2 might be our weak link.
good point. They may be.
Yep. Yeah, I will dig some people to dig some information on those 2.
Okay.
Try to see like maybe at some point they get sloppy, then see if we can work any information out from that.
All right, I'll get you that information. If not, I may try to send you that information between now and next session, so that way you'll have it coming in.
All right.
And in fact, since we're taking next week off, that's a good idea. What I will do is I'll make a list of things to make sure I tell you between now and then. And also between now and then, I'm going to ask some questions on our Discord to make sure that we kind of keep the conversation going. That way we hit the ground running when we hit the next session. Because I have a feeling, and this is for the viewers, I've already told most of the players this, but this is for the viewers also. I believe that we will have maybe 2 more episodes after this. So given the way our scheduling is happening and a bunch of other stuff, and I would really like for everyone to be there for the finale. So I believe this is going to be this session and then 2 following, and then we should be able to wrap everything up.
All right.
So let me make a note here real quick so I remember to say that to you. So basically what you're doing is like you said, you're getting as much information as you can on these 3 people. Okay.
Oh, I have a question about, now that I'm thinking about the cipher that they use for the coordinates. Is there any similarity between that and the transmission?
Oh, good question. Now that you're able to actually, because you've had time to really start to dig into that specific transmission, as opposed to have what you were doing earlier, which was just this massive stuff you had to sort through.
Yeah.
So yes, they use related codes. They are not the same code, but you can tell they come from the same family, as it were. So you feel like they're definitely related. Yes.
Yeah. And is there like a pattern to like when our tall guy either like went to pick up the thing, or our two other dead drop people. Like, is there any like, is it a constant like, is there any like correlation between like messages and
Oh, are you looking for like
it's a signal to do whatever they need to do, or something like that,
actually
like an activation of some sort?
you
to-
are able to you're able to establish a pattern. The pattern is guy picks up whatever the package is,
Mhm.
and then 2 or 3 days later, a transmission goes out from a radio transmission goes out from
Mhm.
the apartment to the island.
Interesting. Work with that. Looking, if Talus looks at that, is there anything I can glean from anything what can something I can pick up that?
Your best guess is that the information in the package is a mission, and that the transmission is reporting that the mission is complete.
Okay.
That's how you do it if you were setting this up. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Did we have a record of transmissions, or do we just get information that the transmissions are taking place?
Actually, I mean, you do have. It's not a large record, but given the fact that you were able to find this place in the first place, yeah, you can coordinate that with times. So yeah, you have a record of the transmissions, and with a couple of exceptions, all of the transmissions are very short.
Yeah. Just to see how long this has gone on for, at least like how the frequency of these things, like
Yeah,
if they're speeding up or if they're.
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so interestingly, no, they seem to be at roughly the same pace.
Okay. Ooh, that's super
And the
concerning,
only
yeah.
messages that were longer than the ones that you're guessing are acknowledgement, basically, mission accomplished sort of things.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones that appeared to receive anything back.
Okay.
So your guess is that those were questions.
This is. So I think Talos is getting the deducing that this is something that they do not want anyone having the hint. If they're doing this, like if things are super regular and there's minimal ways to trace, like frequency, or when things, it's just incredibly regular, which is.
Yeah, they are doing a remarkably good job of
Yeah.
covering their tracks and hiding what they're actually saying.
Mhm.
It's if they were up against anyone but your house and maybe one or two others, they would have gone almost entirely unnoticed.
Mhm. Interesting. Good. So I think in the meantime, I don't think Talus is necessarily I think she's gonna spend time trying to break this down as much as she can, like this entire thing, like spend.
Okay.
Like code breaking.
That makes sense. Okay, not a problem, and I'll get back to you on that one, obviously, between now and next session, and we'll yeah, if that's what you're focusing on, you will eventually be able to fully break the code.
Yeah, because I think between Silas and Nero, I think they're better suited for the actual like surveillance. And,
well, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
And espionage aspect of it.
Speaking of which, Nero, are you bringing any of the family in on this?
Some of it, yes. Depends on which aspect we're talking about.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
if I'm needed. So I have a multi-part thing here, sadly, because of course have you met me? The something I've realized I need to do. I have things I've realized I need to do surrounding this. One, what was the list that I of people that I got from Talus? Talus sent a list of people to me.
Which
What
one?
What are these people?
The people with the dossiers or something else?
Was there a? That's what I'm trying to remember.
I think she gave you a list of people that that they had the dossiers on, just to like match, just so you could like cross-reference your people and make sure, like, if we're telling
Gotcha.
them not to have those people.
And yeah, so basically, yeah, what Talus saw was only 2 question marks. Okay, you were on the board. Not everyone had a picture on the board with the strings.
Right.
You did. And there were 2 strings that went to question marks, but only 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna send. I'm gonna give Vange this information. So that we kind of try to tackle it and see if there's anything she can think of that we haven't yet.
She's one of those people that in our world would do the Saturday New York Times crossword puzzle in pen. So she looks like you've given her a particularly interesting puzzle now.
Okay. Yes. Thought you might like that.
She smiles that smile that makes people hide their wallets.
Yes. So my thought about as far as what we've been talking about, I do need to see if I can check. Oh, that's a guild thing. But you asked about bringing the family in, so I will continue answering that question before I diverge. If it comes to so here's kind of the thing. As far as this operation, right now we're just monitoring people, right?
Right.
Okay. I think that yes and no. If we need to, at any point, to get kind of a sense of something, of someone, or something that might be on their person, if we need to plant something on them, if we don't already have people for that.
Okay.
Or if we need to pick their pocket or something, I might be able to use Jordan for that, possibly.
Sure.
I mean, Zos is good at learning at distracting, but also taking things. Zos is a little more obvious, but he's learning how to steal things. Jordan, however, can go around and be a little smoother, and he's an information gatherer.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
Like
he's like one of Sagan's kids. Yeah.
So it's like if you need a read on the person, and possibly to slip something into their pocket, that kind of thing, is that he might be useful for that. Of course, it's one of those things. He's 10, so I want to be nearby.
You do. He needs some supervision. Yeah.
We will be disguising him, but if we're at a role, but at the same time, because he needs to look like a local urchin.
He does. And by the way, there are plenty of those, so that's easy to work with.
So we might use Jordan for that. I'm thinking if it comes to the phase 2 where they need me to be bait, then I thought it might be fun if nearby, if it comes to it, right, where I'm thinking more if I'm there as me, or if I'm there as public face Nero,
right,
then what might actually, instead of being so obvious as to be at that restaurant, are there other businesses or restaurants nearby that are perhaps slightly more upscale?
Slightly more. Yeah. This is the most popular by far, but there are but because of the traffic, there are other places around. Yes.
Yeah. I think
not a problem. You could easily be at any one of those.
It might be fun if I'm needed as a distraction or something, or if I'm needed to basically be out there for them to see what I do. if we don't have anyone we want to fill those question mark slots with, which that's important if we need as a distraction, right?
Sure.
But if I want it to look like it's just like me being me and have them follow me somewhere or whatever, or they're trying to learn things about me, I was thinking it might be fun to have an argument publicly with Alexis.
Okay. That is definitely something to keep in your pocket. I like that idea.
And so it's a thing where it's like she'll be where the advantage of that is that it's like that kind of then will leak information about my illicit behavior, possibly.
Right.
That may or may not exist.
That could totally work. Okay.
And we'll get them like, okay, we can get him this way or whatever.
Okay.
And then also, if things go south, she's there and can and
maybe stab someone. Yeah,
stab people if we need to.
Need someone to be, kidnapped or
yeah,
or
that
whatever.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's actually a really good
had
point.
recent practice with that, so she's good at
Yeah, actually,
she's actually quite good at that.
Yeah.
How did things with
all
her
right.
friend turn out? Did she? Was it okay?
So far, so good.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Good to make friends.
So that leaves us with Silas. So we know what your people are working on, and eventually you'll be back by the air side. But until then, just so we know what's Silas doing.
I think he's gonna maybe I know that he's waiting for Resius to reach back with him about the info.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and that's another thing that I'll probably transmit to you. Let me make a note though. But that's another thing I'll probably transmit to you between now and next session, so that we can kind of come in with that information. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, for now, Silas is in a waiting position to react to information. There's not much that he can follow up on at the moment.
You are. You really are waiting on people to get back to you. Okay.
But you're in
so-
a good position
Yeah.
where something is up, so you can kind of
Yeah, you're looking for it.
be extra vigilant about things.
Yeah.
At least you know that they're
he's
a thing.
Yeah, he's ready to react to the first sign of things happening.
Absolutely right. Okay, good point. Yeah, you're poised.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless there's anything else, I think this is around the time we usually wrap up. So I think we're good. But I want to make sure.
Yeah,
Anybody got anything else before we close up?
And I think just for the purpose of this, while he's waiting, he's gonna focus on keeping an eye on the Bene Gesserit again. He has not seen her in a while, so.
But your people have been watching her. So yeah, you've got information. So yeah, you're right. Okay. There have been times though that she has disappeared. So there have been times that she has not been able to be followed, and they've noted that. There were 6 hours gone, stuff like that. So
for me, I think Silas is at some point he thinks he might do the tracking himself to try to find out where the disappearance
that's not a bad idea. Okay.
He's feeling like this is a fuse. So
that's a fair point too. Okay, so let me make sure I get that in. So Silas, okay, you'll have all the information about the Bene Gesserit, or at least all the information your people were able to gather.
All right,
got it.
Also, do let me know if at any point we have someone that you would like me to wine and dine to help get information out of and/or assassinate.
Yeah, should that come up?
Just because I'd love to do that.
Okay.
But that's
if that comes up.
If it
Yeah,
comes up.
anyone has any suggestions, send them to Nero. That's good. All right, anyone else? Are we good? All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks a lot, everybody, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Hey.
Awesome. Yay. Very cool. Very cool. No, this is great. I enjoy this. I enjoy this game.
I'm having fun.
Yeah,
I hope
me
the rest
too.
of you are.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to head off in a moment, so we're gonna go ahead and go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts you have about this session or whatnot. And once again, as usual, we will start with our GM, Brian.
Yeah, everybody, thanks again for watching. Again, as always, thanks for playing. And but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. Like I said, my job is to not just have fun, but make sure all of you are having fun. So it seems to be working. So I think we're good. Yeah, I liked this session. I'm sorry everyone wasn't able to make it, but I figured we would just take this opportunity to kind of hit everyone because each of you was working on something a little different, and it worked out great because at the end of it, you all came together and were able to do this, which I have to admit, it's kind of the point. So we were trying to get everybody in the same place, and we finally managed it. Yeah, I like everything you're doing. I will get information back to you before we meet again in a couple of weeks. And thanks again for everything. And as far as outros go, you can find me at Armor Goes Clank. We are on a bit of a hiatus right now, but there are plenty of back episodes. It's a podcast about tabletop gaming largely and a lot of pop culture stuff. So thanks a lot.
Yay! Awesome. And now we will head over to Nicky.
All right. Hello there. I'm Nicky. You can find me on social media as NixNat1, capital N's and the number 1 on Twitter and Twitch, where I occasionally stream TTRPG stuff. But I've been a bit busy right now. You know, Chinese New Year is like next week, so I've been busy with family stuff. But I will be streaming it's supposed to be a Christmas one shot, but I'm doing it in January because of delays, which if all goes well should be next week, Thursday. So stay tuned for that. And beyond that, yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. And finally over to Lynn.
So much fun. I love everyone's getting very, very deep in espionage stuff. It's like, I love we're not going to tip them off, but we're going to keep eyes on them without hopefully having them figure out what. I just like everyone's circling each other. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art pretty much everywhere. Different platforms, Twitter, Twitch, I have all those places, Instagram. You can catch my art, and I have some stuff from Transplaner that just came out. Like I got to illustrate what the bad guy the big bad guy for the campaign. So yeah, it's cool. And everything's kind of like on break, and we're still on the holidays. So yeah, next time you'll see me, it's here when we get to see what happens next time. I'm excited.
Me too, also. And so thank you all for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and also put the little commands for. Oh wow! Oh no! It happened again. I'm gonna go ahead and put the info for. I'm gonna go ahead and put those commands for Janie and for Jen into the chat also, so that you can follow those links if you so desire.
Yep. Definitely follow them and check out. I forgot to plug Play Cancer Away.
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
The link's right there. The link for Play Cancer Away is in chat. Do please take a look at it. Keep up with their fundraisers to benefit cancer research. Vitally important. But in the meantime, let's see. What is happening? That's a great question. Well, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. Also on Hive, Mastodon, and most other social media platforms. Where I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, things of that nature. Down below, you can access website, social media links, the YouTube channel, and various other things. Tomorrow, I am hopefully we'll be meeting up again with Lucci, and that afternoon we'll be playing more Zork 2 as we go back and we play. We do this thing called Abject Adventure Gamery, where we go back and play text adventures and just generally goof off and be silly. So very much looking forward to getting back to that tomorrow. Let's see, the Friday Don't Rest Your Head is on hiatus currently, but we'll be back with the second arc soon. On Monday, we'll be having what is probably the finale of the first arc of the Inner Circle group for Don't Rest Your Head. So very much looking forward to that. They have encountered the Shadow Crone in the City of Nightmares, the Mad City, and so we're gonna see what happens and how they unentangle themselves from that, and if they and what choices they make, because they're at a point where they need to make some choices. They've got the information they're looking for, and so if they survive, they will be provided a way out by the Wax King. But they got to survive the Shadow Crone first, so we'll see what happens. So very much looking forward to that. And so then, yes, next week we will be off from Dune. So this will be back in 2 weeks. And I'm very much looking forward to that as well, because stuff's going on. So he says generally. But still, I'm very much looking forward to this. This has been a great game, and I'm really interested to see what happens when we as we bring ourselves closer to the climax of it. So when we hit the end card, we're gonna go say hi to somebody. There are a few people streaming right now that might be good candidates. We actually haven't rated Adventure Maidens in a while. We might do that. They're still playing.
Yeah, they rule. Do that.
Yeah, so we'll probably go say hi to them if that's possible. And also Anaris is streaming also, if nothing else. So we're going to go over and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks a lot.
Farewell.